It's time to rant. What's up, you guys? It's time for another Aphrodite chat video, and today we are doing our first book rant. And as you can see by the title, we are ranting about Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Alright, so we all know about Fangirl here on BookTube. It's one of the OG hyped books here. Everyone has read this book, it feels like, and I just did. And boy, do I have thoughts. So Fangirl is about this girl named Kath, and she writes fan fiction about this Harry Potter-esque world. She is extremely popular amongst the fandom. She gets like thousands of hits on her stories, and we follow her as she does her first year at university. Before I get into it, I am going to preface there is going to be spoilers in this video. If you haven't read this and you care about spoilers, there you go, there's your warning. But if you don't care about spoilers, or if you've read the book, there you go. Keep on watching, because I have thoughts on this book. So I'm gonna first start off with the things I liked before I get angry and start yelling at the camera. I actually enjoyed the first 200-ish pages. I thought it was funny. I was interested in the story. Kath was a very relatable character. I also really loved the way sexuality was explored in this book, and what I mean by that is, I don't know about you guys, like, we're gonna get a little real for a second, but that's the whole point of these videos. I was a very sexually deprived child. Ew, don't say child. I was a very like sexually deprived teenager. I didn't have any experience until I was 18. So I was very similar to Kath. I not only read to get that to explore those things, but I did write for 6 years. And so I wrote anything from like fan fiction to creating my own worlds to building off of other people's, etc., etc. I feel like the essence of girls who read and like appreciate fandom and like people in general, how kinky they can be. Like, does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe I read too much into it, but I just really liked how she was nervous about sex and everything, but also she kind of knew exactly what she was doing. She just hadn't actually done it physically yet. Does that make sense? Hopefully. There's a point where Ren and Kath were talking, and she was like, oh, you know their parts better than your own parts. So I really enjoyed that, because I could very much relate to that, and I feel like a lot of people who grew up in like the fandom setting and like writing or anything like that can very much relate to it. So I thought that was a very interesting aspect that Rainbow Rowell actually explored, and it could have been explored a little deeper, but again, this is a YA book, so I liked her little alludes to it. I also liked Levi, but I also want to preface, I didn't like him necessarily as a person because he was annoying, and I just can't deal with like really happy people. But the way that Levi acts with Kath is exactly the way my boyfriend acts with me, so I couldn't help but like love their interactions, even though if I compared myself to Kath, I would off myself. We're just going to compare my boyfriend to Levi, and that's that on that. Him meeting her dad was like, that was like straight from my memory and straight from my experience, so that was like really cute. I really liked their dad. That was a very good element of the story, and I was definitely on the edge of my feet always, and I could feel like the burden, not the burden, but like the pressure and the uncertainty, especially whenever he didn't pick up his phone. I was like, what's going on? What's happening? Because I really liked him as a character, and I didn't, why did it happen to him? Is there anything else I can say that I loved before we get into the rant? All of the little tabs that I marked were just Simon and Baz and not even her. Another thing I liked is I actually thought she was going to end up with Nick the entire time, because on the cover it doesn't say Cather, and that's what Levi called her, so I was like, oh, that must be Nick. But like Rainbow Rowell really got me there, because I was just as confused with Kath too, because I was like, is this bitch gonna end up with her roommate's boyfriend? But that was all cleared up. It was still a little weird, but we'll go past it. Let's get into the real content of this video. We are going to rant because I have so many things to say. First of all, the book was too damn long. It was too damn long. And you know what happens when you drag your story on? You give me more opportunities to hate your character. And that's exactly what happened. It dragged on like an Oedipus. It was not a good time. Secondly, Ren is the worst sister on the entire planet. She is literally the worst. She could not make me hate her anymore, truly. When she started to just disregard Kath, and then when she started talking to their mother, oh my god, I could not believe that she would do that. I hated her so much. And then when her dad went into the hospital, and then she tried to convince Kath to pay attention to her finals, that Ren was trying to convince Kath not to go and see their dad, who was in the hospital. I totally understand, like, yeah, finals are important and everything, but their dad was in the hospital. Like, that's not like a joke. And when she, oh my god, I could not believe that she did that. I was truly shocked and appalled. I sat there with like my mouth open for like a good minute. Like, it was not okay. Then she herself went into the hospital for alcohol poisoning, and she was like, oh, I promised not to drink that much. She's like, oh, I wasn't gonna die. Oh my god. Like, she was such a stupid ass bitch. And so unsupportive, so rude, so ugly. And she didn't redeem herself at all. I was waiting for Rainbow Rowell to try to redeem her character for me. Thankfully, she didn't. Because if she tried, it wasn't gonna happen. Ren was trash. So was her mom. I was also waiting for the author to be like, oh, but her mom is a good person. Like, I'm glad that she didn't try to make a redemption arc for their mom, because their mom is trash. There was a point where the mom was like, you guys look just the same. And it's like, yeah, bitch, they're twins. Yeah. If Ren was my sister and she started talking to her, I would honestly cut off ties from her all, like, completely, because that's like an ultimate betrayal. I don't know. I get that it's their mom, but like, no, she's not their mom. Like, they just came out of her uterus. That's not qualifications for a mom. And if you guys think so, that's on you, but I personally consider bonds, trust, happiness, all that way more important than blood, but you know, you do you. But let's move on from Ren, because the thing about Ren is you can tell that she was supposed to be the villain. Obviously. You were supposed to hate her, and if you didn't hate her, I don't know how somebody couldn't hate Ren, because she's literally the worst, but it's obvious that she's supposed to be trash. But Kath is the main protagonist. And I hate her more than Ren. And the reason I hate her more than Ren is you're not supposed to hate Kath. You're supposed to feel for Kath, which made me hate her even more, because she legitimately thought what she was doing was smart. Kath was just so stupid. And you can't even make the argument, oh, she's just a teenager, she's just whatever. Like, no, that she's in college now. There's no excuses. Like, where's the limit? Where are people supposed to be mature and actually think about their decisions? I was doing that when I was in high school, probably even in middle school, but like I guess I will have local room for people in high school, but like once you're in college, I'm not going to be sympathetic towards you. Like, I'm sorry, you're a legal adult. You need to take accountability for your actions, and Kath honestly was acting like a 12-year-old. My biggest thing was her thing with writing. So she spends all this time writing fan fiction. I don't know how long she's been writing fan fiction, but like forever. And she has been a writer. And then she gets to college. She applies for an advanced fiction class. And then she gets mad that she can't turn in fan fiction. Excuse me? What idiocy? How stupid do you have to be to think that you can turn in fan fiction unedited? Like, she didn't even change the names. I mean, at least if she changed the names, like, that would be a little better. But she literally turned in Simon Snow fan fiction to her professor in college. Now, don't get me wrong, I am a wholehearted defender of fanfiction. I feel like fanfiction gets a load of shit for no damn reason. There are genuinely great stories out there, and fanfiction writers can be way better writers than even writers that have published. So that's not really the discussion. I'm just talking more about that she turned in fanfiction to her official class in university. And then she didn't end up doing the final paper because she was so lazy. She just couldn't be bothered trying to think of a concept. She's like, I just can't think of a world. I just don't want to. I'm too lazy. Oh my god. Like, it's just too hard. She didn't put a single effort into that. And I'm just like, again, going back to, she applied for this advanced fiction writing class. She is an English major. She is an English major who applied for an advanced fiction writing class, who thought she could just get her degree by turning in fan fiction. Did she think she could make a career out of this? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not sure you can make your career out of writing fan fiction. Maybe if your Patreon is poppin'. Just the audacity of this character. She was so dumb. And then the professor gave her a whole extra semester to write this paper, and she still tried to say that she wasn't going to do it. I could not believe that she was trying to still not do it. And the only time anybody ever called her out was Levi once, because he was talking about how ungrateful she was and how stupid she was being. And then they just made up like 30 seconds later. Kath didn't get the discipline, or she didn't get called out for being so freaking stupid and so dumb and so irresponsible. I really wanted to DNF this book. I was 70% done with it, and I wanted to DNF it because she took such a downhill spiral. Like, she was truly irredeemable. I didn't care about the rest of the story. I didn't care about her and Levi. She does not deserve Levi. It was so irritating. And then the ending. What the frick was that ending? What? That was it? How unsatisfying does a book have to be to end on that? Like, you can just tell by the ending that the book just didn't need to be that long, because the ending was literally shit. I just don't understand why this book is so hyped. I don't understand why people love it so much. It has to be like the relatability of it, I guess, because Kath is such an introvert, but that's literally it. I really don't get why this book was so popular. It just didn't go anywhere. All of the plot points didn't end up going anywhere. The Carry On plot didn't, the ending of that was dissatisfying. The thing with her mom didn't ever get resolved. Her dad's mental kind of condition didn't really get satisfied enough. We still don't know, like, yeah, they're going to his house every weekend, but that's it. We don't really know much else. The thing with her paper wasn't satisfying. Like, literally all 5 or whatever, however many plot points was in this book, none of them were adequately resolved. Not even Kath and Ren's makeup was like that wasn't even really covered successfully. Like, everything was just so bad. Everything dragged out, and it dragged out to nowhere. There was no satisfying ending point. It just, the longer the book dragged on, the more I hated it, the more I found more problems with it. It just didn't do it for me in the slightest capacity. I'm really disappointed. I am going to end this book rant with this one point. If you know me, you might know what I'm about to say. It should have been gay. Simon and Baz were roommates. Kath and Reagan were roommates.
And they were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
How much better would this book have been if it was Kath and Reagan instead of Kath and Levi? And I know you Levi supporters are out there, but try to think for a second. Don't kid yourself. How much better would the book have been? Because I can tell you right now, it would have been a shitload better. And that's all I'm gonna say. So, hope you guys enjoyed this Aphrodite Chats video, my first book rant. I didn't get as angry as I thought I would, but I think it's because I've already screamed about this in my car. Now, let's continue this conversation in the comments. Let me know what you thought about Fangirl. I know a ton of people like it. This is like 4 or 5 star reads for them. I don't get it, so please try to justify your wrong opinion in the comments below. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I hope you guys stick around for the next chat video. If you guys liked this and you guys like my Aphrodite chats, especially my book rants, because I know I love to rant about books, leave a like, leave a comment. Let's get going.